What the? No, this is not the latest Taco Bell breakfast taco commercial. This is a 2006 Yamaha Morphous scooter. And I just wanted to do this video. There's not too many videos on YouTube about these. I guess you could say that the videos are as rare as the bike. In Japan, these are called the Maxims, and they're available in a 250, 400, and 600, I believe. And in Japan, they're a big hit. They can't sell enough of them. They can't build enough of them. So Yamaha brought them over in 2006 through 2008, but they were a very hard sell. They didn't sell them. Very, very few sold, and there were a number of reasons, and I could see why. But overall, this is a really, really nice scooter. And I had a '94 Helix, which at the time I thought was really almost as radical looking or as prototype looking as this. This is more of a Jetsons look to it than the and looking back, although the Helix far outsold this, which even resale today, if you look for a Helix online, they're going for $3,000 or $4,000. Later on in the video, I'll tell you how much I walked off with this one. But anyway, again, there were a few reasons why these did not sell. And I guess the folks over at Yamaha, they were really scratching their head, because I guess they thought that this was going to be a winner. But like the Edsel in 1958 through 1960, Ford almost took a bath with it. But Yamaha, I guess, was smart enough to discontinue sales. But I'm lucky enough to be one of the owners. I've been looking at these for a few years, and excuse me, the prices have really come down on them. I don't know how many were actually produced. I've been looking online. If anybody has a website, or who knows the actual production number, or not production but sales number of these in the United States, let me know. But again, in Japan, they came with, this is a 250, and that's the only one that was imported. I imagine that if these were a big hit, then they would have brought them. They would have brought over the 400 and 600. I would love to see this with a 600 because these are longer and heavier than the Helix, and they ride. This has a fuel injected engine, so it's a little peppier. It's a little bigger of an engine, a couple of cc's. My Helix, I had top speed, I had it up to 96 miles an hour. I haven't gotten a chance to get this out on the highway yet. I actually just took delivery of it. I had it shipped up to my home in New Jersey. But as you can see, they really are a radical looking bike. Sport bike looking, sport cruiser, Cadillac, Lincoln town car of scooters. They're really long. These are as long as a Harley, I forget the model, but these are really long. The reason why they didn't really sell well, I think, number one was just a big bike and a big scooter. People they really flocked to the Ruckus and the Bergmans and other scooters, the Helix. But other reasons, and the main reason, I think, now I'm 6 foot, and when I sit on it, my knees are, I have room, but my knees get, not fairly close. If I was 6'1", this wouldn't work. So this is not a bike for a tall person. This is geared for a person with shorter legs or shorter person. That was a main concern, and I think a lot of it has to do with this back support here. I think if the back support maybe was further back, you could sit back a little further. I don't know how that would really handle with the center of gravity and the bike. I imagine they took all that into account when they designed these. Another thing was this non-existent windscreen is really an aesthetic. Maybe it helps your knuckles out, but at the time there were no aftermarket windscreens, but there are two companies that sell windscreens. If you just do a Google search on it, I just ordered a 18-inch wide by 22-inch high windscreen in a tinted gray, which will look pretty nice on this. So that'll give me a more comfortable winter driving. As you can see, they have the chrome mirrors. The 08, the 06 models came in black raven and a silver, I believe, and then 08, 07, the black and a really nice blue. 06 also had a blue, a very nice blue, and then in 08, the last year, they came out with a dark purple, midnight purple, which at night looked black and in the daytime shimmered like a purple. I didn't really like it, but that's a personal preference. But it's a really futuristic bike, and it's very, very, very comfortable. And you can see it is as long as it looks on the video. Comparing this with the Helix, the Helix by far in the trunk space in the Helix was what's much more, much deeper. I guess they just couldn't make the trunk space that much because the bike was already that long. So you have the wheel, the fender well, to everything. So you could throw a few things in here. But the Helix, I remember I can actually put 2 shopping bags in it. So the Helix had a far roomier trunk. But, this still does the job. For if you need to run out to pick up a gallon of milk or a few other things, this is your thing. Although I don't imagine that's not the reason why you would buy it. It's not the reason why I bought it. So there's your trunk. Now I have a 2012 Cadillac SRX, and this is remarkably similar. It really looks just like the rear of a Cadillac. It's just so ironic. So, and I spruced her up with a nice laser blue pinstripe, and I basically went along the light line, the curve of the scooter, and along here in the front. So against the black, it really sets it off. It just accents the lines. And I could have went with another one down here or even the crease, but I just didn't want to overdo it. You don't need to. 2 laser thin blue pinstripes do wonders. It just accents the bike, and it's nice and simple. Boom, and that's it. The headlight, as you can see, is huge, and it throws off an awful lot of light. So they really did well here. And the back, again, I'll start it in a minute. The only thing I've been looking online, and if anybody has a Morphous scooter and you could chime in. Let me start it up and I'll get back to that. All right, to start it up, it's got a neat digital dash. Yeah, turn the key helps, right? And you got, that's the other difference between this and the Helix. Helix was carbureted. This is fully, full fuel injected. It's got that nice chrome, clean, naked handlebars, chrome steering column, full digital readout. Now at night, this is a not really blaring red, but it's a nice red, nice glow. And another thing's really neat is at night while you're driving, when you're riding rather, is you got your front turn signals, and they just pop up over the top, so you can see them as well. But they don't get in your way. But they just, it's a little glow. It looks kind of nice. You got a nice glove box. It's a really deep glove box. You only put a few pounds, 4 pounds, but I don't imagine you want to put much heavier than that. I don't plan on transporting my gold bars in that, but it does lock. Here's your ignition. It the little collar, the white collar around the ignition that glows. You got your chrome side view mirrors. The '08 models, I've seen other models come in black. I guess depends on your bike. Some of them come with, I believe the '08s came with black rims. That's another thing that's larger on this compared to the Helix. These are 13-inch tires. The Helix were 12s. The back's a little larger, with beefier tire than the front. Again, I don't know if that didn't really show up on camera, on video. But that's actually the high beam. And your low beam. So getting back to what my main question was, any Morphous owners out there could chime in. Again, I just got this 2 days ago. I just had it shipped up. Now you can see the bottom LED lights are lit. My question is, and I've been looking online, searching this, and I can't find an answer. When should these be lit? Or their main function is this. Part of me thinks that maybe there's a bulb out, or both bulbs maybe, a fuse possibly, but to me I would think that it would be safer to have all of it lit, and then when you put your blinkers on, they blink on and off. But I could be wrong. So if any Morphous owners out there can chime in and help me out on this, I appreciate it. But again, this is still pretty bright. These are all LEDs. And the seat, it's running, but the seat opens up, and you got room under here, and there's a little area here to put paperwork. And you got two stands. You got your center stand, which I try to use. And then you have your side stand. Now when you put your side stand, if I remember the Helix right, when you put the side stand down, it should cut the engine off. So that's a sort of a safety measure, and God forbid you're riding and that goes down, I imagine. So again, I've been looking at these for quite a few years. When they were the MSRP for these were around $5,200, and again, I've been looking at these the past 4 years or so, and they were holding value. Like now, this one has 4,000 miles. I bought this off the original owner. It has 4,000 miles. It's really well taken care of. It's like new. So I got this it was listed at for 3,000, and they went down 1,000 when they listed it, and I made an offer, so I got it for under $2,000, which is really good. So and the reason is they didn't sell when they were new, and I guess price wasn't the issue, because even at 1,900, they don't move. People just don't. They look at it, they're like, what is that? And then they move on and they go buy a different scooter or whatever. Again, I'm 6 foot, and I could fit on it. It's a little bit cramped, not uncomfortable, but again, anybody with long legs, forget it. This is not your bike. This is not your scooter. If the scooter's your thing, this is not your bike. I had a Reflex also. I bought a 2000 Honda Reflex scooter, which was more of like a sport bike. It wasn't as long as this, and I had fun with it. I fit perfectly on it, but it really had no storage. It was almost useless. I mean, you can go to the beach with it and stuff, but it didn't have the trunk in the back at all. It was all right, but I had more fun with my Helix. And I went back and forth. Another reason why I didn't buy this a few years ago is I was still on the fence. I was looking to maybe go for a full-size Honda Pacific Coast, which if you really look at the Pacific Coast, the PC800, I mean, this is a scooter. I'm not saying they're the same, but if you look at the design, it's in that genre. I mean, you look at a Pacific Coast, and of course the performance is night and day, but if you know the designs between the two, you can see where I'm going with it. But I had such a good time. I've had so many different motorcycles over the year. I had such a good time with my Helix that, again, I saw this and I was like, wow, it's really neat. It's like a prototype bike. A lot of people think it's a prototype, but it's not. And if you look online in Japan, there's a large following because these are so popular over there, and they have such radical design concepts and so forth. They redesign these. And there's some really radical stuff out there. And then also Yamaha came out with a Maxim 3000, which is like a huge, which is like 106-inch wheelbase, and it's really wide, has chrome bumpers on it. It's really a radical bike, but they're really big over in Japan. So another thing, gas tank, design wise, which isn't that great, but I guess it's all you do, you unlock it. It's kind of a weird lock, but it's pretty far down, but you got that well there. So you just, like anything, when you're gassing up, you got to make sure that you empty anything out before you put the nozzle in, because it's kind of far down. So if there's any fuel in the nozzle before you dispense, it's going to get all over in there. So just make sure, because it's kind of far down. I don't know why they did that. They could have, but these are little things I guess people didn't really like about it. But I think the main reason is just the length. The big cruiser scooter, it just didn't go over well here in the U.S. The windscreen and the seat, the length. Can't really tell. If I sit on it, I can't really give you an idea, but here. So now I don't know if these handlebars, and that's another thing too, any Morphous owners, obviously these are capped, but I wonder if these handlebars can be loosened up here and moved forward a little bit higher up, and that'll give me a little more room. But this is really the riding, where my foot is. This is my riding thing. So she starts right up. In the cold climates, you got to give that fuel injector a few minutes. You'll hear it whine and set in. It takes a few times to start this. It might just need it probably needs a spark plug. I'm going to do that once I get going, get it registered. She's not even registered yet, so. So. Not loud. Sounds is really the same as my Helix. I remember the Helix. Yeah, I think I'm going to change the plug on it or take a look at it. And also I read into these that although it just requires regular unleaded, that it runs better with premium. And was it a 4-gallon tank? Why not? It'll run better with premium. It'll start faster. You'll get better performance anyway, especially with these little engines. With the horn, loud, which is what you want. It's got nice little appointments. It's got chrome. It's well made. It's definitely not what you would say a cheap scooter. Like, I don't look at, there's nothing, the only thing that I could consider kind of on the flimsy side, it would be this. It's kind of like, you know, this, you can argue, but other than that, where it counts, the wearable air, like all this, it's really well made. There's nowhere when you walk around and look and touch that you could say, like, wow, did they cut corners on this thing? It's a well-made scooter. Everything's well made. One negative, Japan, these are not required. So in the U.S., they tack them on there. Same in the back. They just tack these little things on here. Again, because they're not required. You know, U.S. United States love to regulate our lives. I really love the wheels, the style of the wheels. That's another difference between this and the Honda, the Helix, is this has the gas charged shock absorbers. The Helix had like a swing arm type of front suspension. And another upgrade with this, you got front and rear caliper, power caliper brakes. The Helix had drum rears, and if I remember, the Helix, to start it, had a foot brake right here. So to start the Helix, you had to press the foot brake, and that was your brake. That was your rear brake, was here. You know, I much prefer having brakes on the handlebars. And it brakes pretty well. Yeah, some nice satin chrome. So if you're looking to get a kind of a neat scooter, now I'm going to use this. I live near the beach in New Jersey, so I'll use it, go back and forth to the pool, the beach. Gonna pick up something, coffee or something like that. Go out for a nice ride. I also own a Corvette, a classic Corvette, and I show that. And I'm gonna take this to some local shows because again, I imagine there are not too many of these in New Jersey. I've never seen one on the road. I still see Helix. I still see a Helix running around. There's a few people that live next town over from me. I see them putting around with the Helix. So they sold plenty of those, so you're going to see them around. But I'd be hard pressed to find one of these. So now I'm just waiting for the windscreen to come in. So again, the windscreen, I'll put it up. I'll probably get the windscreen at 22 inches. It'll be up around this height. And I got it a little wider. You had different, they had some extra large ones that were 26 high by 18 wide. I didn't want anything that crazy. So I got a 22 by 16, which is good for me. And I got it in light gray. I think the tint will kind of look nice on this. So the only thing is that I'll lose the Yamaha logo, but I did order a blue sticker, and I'm gonna put that on the new one. So if you're looking for a really sort of a what is that, or a head turning type scooter, or you're looking something to have something a little different out of the box, something that's low and really easy to ride, a lot of fun, it's automatic, this is your bike. This is a really, really nice, unusual bike. I'm very fortunate. I'm fortunate that these didn't sell well and that they're so cheap, because all the negatives that I actually mentioned don't really bother me at all. They don't really apply too much to me. They don't bother me. So it's a positive because I got a brand new bike for a fraction of what they are new. So, okay, any Yamaha Morphous owners out there, you can help me out with some of my questions I had, or any pointers that you can add in, please feel free. I appreciate it. And happy motoring. Can I say that? Yeah, I guess I could say that. Okay.